Oh, okay.
Then I just. That's cool. We still need 2 more people. So we'll just hold on.
That good?
Significant delay.
Audio. That sounded.
Well, it's a long delay.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. There's a delay on.
Oh, okay.
Regina's here. So after Regina sits down, we'll still need just 1 more person.
That's what I said. At the main door.
That might be, was it Audria?
See the face. I see only.
Yeah, the umbrella. I think it was. I think Miss Boyd was out today. Does anybody know?
I think I heard it.
Yeah. Meeting room is.
All right, Rod's on his way up.
Okay.
Your phone is pocket. Your phone is pocket.
Okay, we'll start it in just a second. Eden isn't feeling well, so she's not going to be there at this point. And Neelam is stuck in traffic, and I think Eric's on his way. But we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll do the roll call and take the minutes until Eric gets here. Okay, so with that, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Midtown's Go Team meeting. We're going to follow the agenda that was emailed to the Go Team and posted on the Go Team website. I'd like to remind everyone that only members of the Go Team may participate in the discussion other than one of our two public comments sections. So with that, I'm going to call this Go Team meeting to order at 4:07. Let's start with the roll call. And I'll do the roll call since our secretary, Eric, is not here yet. Dr. Bachman, here. Eric Goldberg is absent. Jennifer Keenan, I'm here. Audrey Reese, here. Trinity Uzoka, here. Robert Hill,
Here.
Lisa Boyd, Boyd's absent. Gina McMurray, here. Tamara Jones, here. Nadia Rivera, here. Eden Sharp is absent, she's sick. And we expect that Neelam is hopefully on his way. So with that, we have a quorum present, and we can go on to our first item of business, which is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda that was previously circulated and is shown on the screen? I think one item is missing, or that's only the first page of the agenda that's being displayed. There's something at the end. It doesn't, let me just.
Adjournment is
Is it just the adjournment? Is that the only thing that's missing? Okay. Okay, so sorry. So with that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Okay, so that was Tamara. And a second.
This is Audrey, and second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Any
Sorry.
abstentions?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so the motion carries. Okay, the next thing on our agenda is our first public comment period. That is missing from the agenda on the screen, but that was included on the agenda that was circulated. So that again is pursuant to the procedure that we voted on at the beginning of the year, where we would have two public comment periods. There are no members of the public here for our in-person meeting. Are there any members of the public on YouTube? Okay, so we will not have any public comment for the first time in the public comment period. The next item is the review and approval of the minutes that were previously circulated. Are there any corrections to be offered to the minutes, the documents that Tamara?
I have a request. Just some of the acronyms, you could spell them out like SSF and
Okay.
yeah, that's it. 'Cause I think people reading that might not know what those acronyms are.
Okay, so, amendment to spell out the acronym.
Yeah, SSF and REP were the ones that caught my attention.
Okay.
Right.
That is,
That's funny when you're like, I don't know REP.
Ms. Capelli, what is, you know what REP stands for from the minutes?
Remedial education.
Okay, so those, I think spelling out acronyms are into correcting typos, so there's no need to vote on that. Spelling out something that was previously provided. Are there any other further requests for amendments or corrections to the minutes? Okay, may I please have a motion to approve the minutes? Okay. Second?
Second, Uzoka.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, the motion to approve the minutes with the spelling out of the acronym is approved. Carries, the motion carries. Tamara, if you could, you can just email that document to me, the revised document spelling out the acronyms, and then we'll get that uploaded onto the GoTo website. Okay, we will now go to the discussion items on the agenda. And we only have one item, but it's of course a very big item, and that is the budget feedback presentation. Crystal Bachman is going to walk us through the proposed school's draft budget, which was circulated to everyone on the Go team earlier this month. After the presentation, we'll have a discussion about how the budget aligns with our school's strategic priorities. As we review the budget, it's important to focus on how any adjustments in the district's recommended funding support our school's goals. This is an opportunity for us as a Go team to provide feedback and ensure that our school is making the most of its available resources. So with that, I will turn over the presentation to Dr.
Great. Meeting today. So those are our meeting norms. So the development process, this is where we were last time. We've done the capital review, the strategic plan review, budget parameters, the strategic priorities, we've done those. And, now we're to the budget choice. Step 5 of the voting feedback meeting. In this meeting, what we do is during the feedback meeting, the principal will share the 2026 strategic plan, an overview of the school's draft budget, share updated tabs from the Excel, comments, notes, and the use of school level flexibility in budget allocation. Meeting provides the principal's proposed budget and how it supports the school and key strategic priorities. It also provides the Go team review and provide feedback on proposed We've seen this a number of times. It's on the website too. This is our plan of what we rank as priorities. So the budget the offering on the left is what we talked about multiple times. On the right is just the rationale that we put in over the last few days. Midtown High School strives to continue to increase their graduation rate to 3%, reaching 2025.
Sorry, is there a way to make it bigger? Move the boxes on? Since Dr. Bachman's talking, we can just move the speaker over to her. Thank you so much.
So ensuring a safe and effective learning environment that encourages student engagement and quality work. When we maximize engaging instructional time in the classroom, students gain the resources needed to be successful. Create a welcoming, inclusive, and responsive school culture, diverse communities that comprise the family. Students have demonstrated a need for more wraparound services and school-based support. use existing and appropriate tools to measure, analyze, and communicate student progress, providing digital platforms, school G and IC to keep schools informed of student progress is an essential component for student success. Next priority, ensure parents and guardians of all Midtown students feel welcome and have opportunities to engage with the school and strengthen their ability to support their students. Foster rationales to foster family engagement school-wide. Directly solicit and act on teacher input for selection, professional development, instructional resources, and communication. We want to enhance, in order to enhance communication and collaboration among instructional staff and their team, implement curricular standards and speed programming.
And just so you know, the ones on the left are in order.
Build teacher and counselor knowledge, understanding, and skills to meet the diverse social needs of students. We want to continuously provide professional learning for Midtown staff to serve the needs of the school community. Value teacher time by ensuring sustainable workload, offsetting their responsibilities with reduced tasks or increased compensation. We want to focus on quality staff members, reduce burnout. Increase the diversity of parents engaging in school functions. To maintain support of bilingual support, especially in funding. Provide necessary and salient resources to enhance teaching and learning, because we want to provide necessary resources for teachers to implement robust learning experiences in the classroom, and provide a mechanism for research and burnout. Provide opportunities for staff members to achieve individual career goals. So a review, we went over this last time. The overview, the district is piloting a zero-based budgeting process for signature and turnaround program funds for this year. We don't get turnaround program funds. Zero-based budgeting is a budgeting process that allocates funding based on program efficiency. As opposed to traditional budgeting, no item is automatically included in the next budget. As such, the initial allocation for these programs in all schools will be zero. The process principals will develop proposed.
To support the signature and programs.
Okay. Principals will share and discuss their proposals and rationale for the proposals with their school GO team for feedback. After discussing with the GO team, principals will submit their request for January 31st. Funding for these programs by the week of February. That's on time. So here's what we had the signature funding. We requested $467,685. That's what we requested in our budget. I think we put request. We were approved $332,332. So what we put in there is to pay for signature program coach, signature program art teacher, signature program science teacher, and signature program supplies and resources. So what we were able to do with those funds, program coach, one signature program teacher allotment, and signature program resources.
A lot less signature resources than we asked for.
Any questions about that?
Now, you already own this two certification.
This is our third full year. We are planning for certification the fifth year for sure. We're on track. Every indication.
For 130,000, where we get it.
Should be in the
Oh,
next
okay.
few slides.
We're going to have a big sale.
Thank you.
Big sale.
That was my idea.
Okay. Jennifer, I'll let you go through these tabs a bit.
All right, so this is just an example, right? Of what we see on the next slide. So you'll see these different headings, top earned, funded, staff, difference, and comments. So earned means that is, that's basically coming out of district pot money. So that they say that we have to have the same number of people that we will have to have. For example, special education teachers, they're going to give us a certain amount to fund that same amount. Whereas funded is, it's more in like the big pot of money, and then we can make some flexible decisions about how those things are allocated. And then there'll be a column to show, how we staff it versus what the district thought we should staff it as, and anything that's different. Okay. So in here, this is the link. The picture is a link. So if you're going back to view this presentation at a later time, just know that that's just a snapshot of it. So we're going to walk through this. This is quite a lengthy time. But we finally did get to zero balanced budget. So when you're looking at all of this, know that we have a balanced budget with this amount of resources. So the district, funded 68 teachers, but we staffed 71.8. So, you'll see that we're going to have less physical stuff, like software and those things, because we definitely prioritize the people. So we'll have 71.8 total teachers. You can see based on, what the district projection for each of those areas were versus what we actually funded, matched pretty much all the way down, with the exception of the gifted teachers. And the reason for that is instead of putting them in this pot, we have actually kind of sprinkled them throughout the content area. And really all of this allow us a little bit more flexibility in scheduling. If we're saying like this would be the teacher only, that kind of what they're allowed to teach. So by putting a smaller number here, if those are our gifted fluid teachers, versus more teachers will teach gifted classes than these 10, but they won't be gifted load, meaning that the majority of their classes will be. Go ahead.
So that column right there is teachers. It adds up to 72.8. Because the athletic directors are not teachers.
Correct.
But they are still. Just want to make sure we don't have any errors.
Yeah, no. That doesn't matter. I just added them up total. But no, there's all there. We can't make those errors. there's safeguards for all of that. I was just kind of trying to show you that we're prioritizing, so we are adding a few more teachers then. But yeah, athletic directors, they don't have any classes. I think they put them here because there is some flexibility in what that looks like, some around the district, but we are athletic directors not in the classroom, given the need of the school, so they do not have classes.
That's the first year that they've allowed flexibility, because some high schools or middle schools might have athletic director teaching a couple classes, so that is why they're in there, but everybody can do what they want to.
Absolutely. All right, now moving down, so that's not our total number of teachers, that's just really for performing arts and language, so we just still have some teacher allocated. So we will have one REP teacher next year. That person will teach our remedial education program students who are identified. As we talked about last time, we really only have enough funding for 0.5, but we're making sure that we're allocating a whole teacher to support that. All right, so now we get into some of our earned positions, for example, PTE. So again, this is an earned position, so we can't decide to add or we can always add, but we can't subtract. curriculum. So we have 9.25, and actually we talked this morning to our budget person because we will not have work next year. It will just move to 9, and we won't get that extra 0.25 and be kind of hanging out on our budget. That will come out of a different piece of money that doesn't impact us. Because basically how they have it on here now is it's split evenly between a few schools, but it's going to get moved all to the one school who's actually supporting that program. And then you can also see our JRTC teachers, our ESOL teachers, related, so that's the special education program. Our lead special education teacher, which again, she's not teaching courses, she's supporting compliance and management of our special education program. While we do have an MYD teacher, it's coming out of a different pot of money, so we'll see that towards the bottom of the spreadsheet. So that's why that's blank there. Autism, speech language pathologists, and CPIs. This whole section is orange, so we really don't have a whole lot of flexibility here. Just that's the district's decision and what is needed to support the school in this programs. Keep going down. Special education paraprofessionals, we are 8, and that's a current position, so remain 8. We will continue to staff the paraprofessionals for the media center, and then we will go to 1 non-instructional aide for next year instead of 2 that we currently have right now. We'll look at the summary all of that in a minute, but this is one of the areas where we've had some cost savings. As far as school administration, the number of people will basically stay the same. However, we have done some movement in how many days some of our clerks will be working. So several of our clerks right now work 211 days. They will go to a 202 schedule. With, again, some cost savings there because each team will have, about 9 less days that they're working. So that also helps a little bit of money with that towards instruction as well. They did fund a bookkeeper, but we staffed a school business manager. So those duties kind of cross over, and then our school business manager is able to do other duties in addition to our bookkeeper as well. So but this is basically staying the same as what we have now, just as a reduction.
Ms. Kelly, is the cost for a bookkeeper the same as the cost for a business manager?
No.
No, it's not. It's more expensive. It is more expensive to have a business manager, but she has considerably more duties than a bookkeeper would have.
Well, you didn't get this.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, I didn't get this.
Oh, I wrote a little comment at the bottom. It said, click the picture.
Okay, so 4 were funded, and we have a total of 6. We don't have 2 in row 50 and 4 in row 51.
Well, we're having to abolish some because we're changing their days.
Mm-hmm.
And remember we split, Lisa and Cynthia split a job. It's a job share up there. So we have right now clerk positions, 6, right? Shannon, Peggy, the job share, Owens, Neely, and Young.
Yes.
6.
Yes. But we have 2 halves right now that will go to 1 whole, so we won't have 2. So the way that it does look a little weird because the people are moving and the days are moving. But we're really not changing the number of people total we have. We're just reducing the number of days that they work.
The district.
2 of them will work 211 next year. but the rest will work 202.
But so the district is only funding, the district's only funding 4 clerks. But we have 6 clerks, 2 at 211, 4 at 202.
That's what we will have.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
So we have more than what the district.
Yes.
And then,
Many schools don't have a counselor clerk. That's unusual, but it's the volume of what goes on in there. We have to. So, yeah.
And then for school support, for counselors that we have allocated funding so that we have that 5th counselor, and then the graduation coach and media specialist, school project manager, and community-based liaison. All those names.
Our community liaison, right, bilingual, right.
Bilingual,
Ms.
yes,
Rivera's
Ms.
spot.
Rivera.
Yeah, I think you just went to the.
Oh.
Sorry, you're fine.
And then the program coach, we have one that supports the STEAM program, and then one that more supports the, our community days and a lot more academic side of our school. Social work program, we're looking at 2, SST intervention specialist, remain at 2.
where does the money come from? So if you go back up to the SST specialist, I've been doing this process for years, and it's still, I guess maybe because it changes every year. But yeah, so if you're looking at row 9, it's not. So where will the money come from for that?
We pay it.
From
Our general funds. We pay it from here. A lot of schools share people or but we buy them.
Because there's a big pot of money that we're basically giving suggestions on how to allocate that, and then we use our strategic plan and school priorities to actually allocate it. It's not always a $1-to-$1.
And the majority of that work is 504, working with students, 504 plans, parents. We have almost.
Yeah, I wasn't calling out like that.
Yeah, you're
I
saying
was
where's
just
the-
giving an example. Yeah.
So this is our STEAM coordinator is one of them, and then we have a program coach also who manages
Student support, lots of student support activities,
community days, academics,
night school.
grad U.
I was told that for ISS categories.
Yeah, so what, and you're right, it's funded, but it's not earned.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah, we'll get there. And we will maintain our ISS first. But it's not an earned, like when the district says they fund it, it's in your pot of money. It's not an earned that you have to use. It is, we'll get there. This is a really long term. Okay. The social technology specialist is actually something that comes out of the district budget, so that's like earned position. It's not here every single day, but that is earned there. And you'll see our custodian, operations manager, psychologist, food psychologist, psychology, school resource officer. Again, these are all earned positions, so there's not flexibility in that area either. Oh, you're right, I did skip that, but it is in here, I promise. Okay, and then this last one, this is the special revenue section. So this is where our final interrelated teacher is funded out of, and then also that MOID teacher that you saw of that was like, down here. It's around the professional. Yeah, right here, line 37. Okay, so that big giant. So we can kind of come back to this to look at. So this right here, in a nutshell, what that big giant spreadsheet says. So essentially for next year, we earned 2 additional interrelated teacher positions. And then we created 202-day clerk positions and then removed 211-day clerk positions. Those are the same people, but they're going from 211 to 202. You will see that there are 2 math teachers, 2 PE teachers, 2 world language teachers, 1 social studies teacher, and 1 peer professional that will be removed. Now we need something that's really important to look at here is right now in our budget, we have one of those social studies teachers and 1 of those world language teachers. We currently don't have. So they're in our budget, but they're vacant. They're not actual people. So we will abolish those positions for next year, but it doesn't relate to an actual person that's in our building. Another thing we were able to be very strategic about is that the positions that are being removed are taken care of through attrition. So these people have decided not to return. Their position will not be abolished.
Or retire.
Right. There's a reason that they won't be next year of their own choice. And we have spent a lot of time over the last 2 weeks since our last Go team meetings, looking at student course requests, putting them into giant spreadsheets, looking at, if we abolish these positions and don't replace some of those teachers who are not coming back, what are our course numbers going to look like? What are our class sizes going to look like? And we will be able to sufficiently staff courses. Anywhere between 20 to 30 students in a class, and that's different because
no commitment about that though.
Right. But class size is not giant. We're still able to staff classes at our high school.
We hope. I can't make any promises about any class size at this point. They may not get everything they want, but they don't always get what they want anyway. So, but no, there may be some choices. Yeah, definitely fewer sections of something. But we have to cut budget, and this was the way to cut the budget with the least pain. But we still, while we got those signature funds, remember we're taking a drastic cut at Midtown.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I think what I heard you say, Kelly, is we currently have 1 social studies teacher slot open. So we're not losing a spot for social.
No, we have to abolish the position. So
It's
really that should
abolishing
say
an empty position.
abolish. It should say abolish. Just so, but on the spreadsheet you have to put remove. But if you're abolishing a position.
Okay, so we're abolishing an empty position. One. So right now we have French, Spanish, Latin, and sign language. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Are we still going to be offering all 4 of those next year? But there will be less sections, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. because you're losing one. I think, which of them have AP? Is it just Spanish and Latin?
Yes,
And will both of those options be available next year?
don't know. So we see the course requests and see where, where the need is for all the kids coming in from ninth grade, coming into ninth grade. We have to look at all of that. That's why I keep sending all those messages about getting your course requests in and all of that, really pushing the eighth graders to get that in. Yeah, again, decisions have to be made based on what we have, sections, and a reasonable number of the class.
So with these other ones, even though the teacher is not choosing to come back, they just choose to go.
Yes, we are
Right now-
abolishing 2 positions in math.
Right. Right now, we have class sizes of 10.
Yes, I don't want to talk about class sizes because
Yeah.
people get kind of hung up on that. And I don't want to talk about class sizes right now. This school is very complicated. It's not just class sizes, it's the amount of courses that we also offer. There's no way for me to tell you what class sizes will look like all this month. No way.
So I'm just curious, what is the procedure? So let's say for world languages, if there isn't enough interest in AP Latin or whatever, there isn't enough, if AP, let's just say if AP Latin were going to be abolished, those kids who had tried to register for AP Latin, then does Mr. Vincent then opportunity for another AP class? Because registration is ongoing. I guess when would these kids learn, hey, you're not going to be able to take AP Latin, but if you want to take another AP class, you gotta let me know. What is that process?
Well, we do the staffing conference. That's the next step, where I go over that with HR and make suggestions or whatever. Mr. Vincent will, as Jennifer said, we're looking at the whole schedule, what we can offer, that kind of thing, based on the personnel. And then Mr. Vincent continues to send out, as things change, he continues to send out, reminders, things like that, things that have changed. He continues to do that. But some of our numbers in foreign and world language are definitely need to be kind of balanced. Our Latin classes, Latin 1, way too small. And so but that's because a lot of kids come in with Latin 1 already. So, we have to look at balancing that. We'll have to limit Spanish for sure. We won't be able, I can't say that means AP Spanish, that means Spanish 4. We'll have fewer sections of Spanish, but we have enough world language. It just means that people maybe they can't take Spanish. Maybe they're taking Latin, they're taking French. You can't always have the exact choice that you want. Requirement is 2 years of a world language. So we try to offer as much as we can. We may have to direct new kids into Latin, French. We will, because Spanish, we're not going to go over 30 in a beginning Spanish class. So, have to move. They have to take something else.
Now, would it be possible to include computer science? If it feels more languages too,
More computer science than we have
or
now.
even just that being an option as well, because foreign language.
Right. Possible, but then that affects the sections in math that we can cover. So, again, school very complicated, Midtown really complicated.
So for the 2 world language positions that are not going to be here next year, what language is it? What language?
Right now it's Spanish. Yeah. But again, one was never funded. We're only losing 1 position based on what we have right now. We just didn't fund one. We banked it. If we had funded it, I probably would have lost it.
It's due to our math outlook.
Okay.
I don't know what.
it's two teachers, but I don't know what.
So that's when we look at all the numbers of what, you know, what we need based on what the kids are requesting. You know, it may be fewer sections of something. I mean, it probably will. Don't know what that is. Well, like double math, we have 3 sections of that right now. 3, 4, but 2 of them are way under enrolled. So we'll probably have 2 of those. That's an easy fix. You know, like I told the 8th graders, though, the 8th grade parents a couple of months ago, and I think that what people need to understand is if people choose to accelerate their kids, they do run out of classes. If you come in with 3 or 4 credits already in high school, the thinking is, and the hope is that you're going to do dual enrollment, you're going to do minimum day, you know, you're going to do early graduation. No school can continue to keep offering classes here when there are other options. ABA, GAPS are options, but we can't, the budget, but also it's just that people are bringing in more classes than ever. All the ABA, kids in middle school taking lots of classes online. If you come in already in pre-calc in 9th grade, that's a problem. That's a, you know, of course, problem.
It's still the case that the kids can't build them. They had to study hall.
They can do it. They can do whatever they want in study hall. They can do, I mean, nobody can stop them. Are you saying, am I gonna, would we pay for that?
No.
No, I mean, you can always take a GAPS class and do it in College Success. You can do whatever you want.
Thanks, Jay, because we did. It seems implausible that we would have one less student than we have this year.
I don't have any data that would that right now that would change their projection, because I just go based, as the principal, I just go based on what we have. You know, I'm not a demographer. I have to go with what I say. There's no reason for me to say right now, oh, we're going to have 1750. There's not 1750 in the 8th grade. I mean, there's not 550 in the 8th grade class. So that's what I'm saying. Is I can't say your numbers are wrong because I don't have anything to go by. That may be something that the go-to can ask, you know, that we can have a committee or something like that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't have it. There's no reason for me to say, no, we're going to have 1750. They're going to say, Dr. Buckman, where are you getting those numbers? I mean, I see the apartments, I see the, you know, condos.
Yeah, well, that's year 2. Here.
I know.
It just happened.
Mhm.
And all of this based on projected enrollment. Like the dollars that we get are based on the number of kids that we have in the building. And if that's off, you know, then, because even if we do hit that target, there's pullback and hit that projected enrollment. Even if we hit that over, we're not going to get the full measure of money from A to make up for it, right? We only get the base amount of funding.
You just get our funding back, right? We're not getting any additional.
And then if we get more, where are you going to find a teacher in September?
Right. It is a problem. Where am I going to find a math teacher in September? Pardon, a special ed teacher in June. But to find a math teacher that can teach, you know, I don't know what they teach, but, you know, yeah, social studies, if we needed more something.
I'm having a hard time, and you know, just forgive me, be a little spicy. But you know, I've watched Dr. Bachman less here for what, 8 years now?
10.
Yeah.
It's a decade. It's a whole decade.
You know, it goes back to over. I remember asking before, you know, when we were implementing SSF, and it was being phased in. Here, I remember asking the district, I was like, is there a floor? Like, is there a floor below which in terms of keeping funding? And I've never really gotten comfortable with that. The biggest problem I have is prepped this was going to be a hard year is that they knew all this was coming. Administration was born, they knew this was coming. Big fan of the teacher raises. They gave raises across the board. Didn't decide to phase them in. Start with the hardest to fill positions. They didn't decide to make uncomfortable or personally or politically decisions, the big decisions they would have to make. And what they did instead is they did not send the dollars to the school to cover the raises. That's why we're seeing it. And I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with that for this before I saw this happening. Here's what's happening after here. After we do this, it doesn't change. You know, that first year, I was having issues with how they were doing the budget. I'm like, sending this money to the school to cover what we were funding. They weren't sending the money to the school to fund them. You know, and it just never changed. I asked, and it would never change. And you'd get to June, and all you could do is fight against the budget. You know? And I mean, this message, I mean, I'm speaking, I want it to go on record. You know, because you know, Dr. Bachman and Ms. Kelly, they're doing everything they can, but they're holding it back. And it's just, and what I fear is you know, if we just acquiesce to all this, next year they're going to be like, well, they rolled over last year. They've been rolling over every year. They're passing the cost of their collective decisions off on students.
That sums it up.
Yeah, the teacher, and I guess the time I've been here, it's gone from 92,000 to 100,000.
Yeah, you know, everybody, like if you were making $250,000, you're now making $300,000.
Right.
They gave raises across the board. They did it all at once and didn't have a plan to pay for it.
They've done different things over the year. I remember you were there a couple of years. They've said that that schools that were Title I paid less for teachers than schools that were not. So that was always, yeah, they did that for about 2 years at least.
They have it. It's just, you know, they made some well-intended decisions, you know, but without thinking about it all the way downstream. And, you know, like I said, it's the teachers and the kids who can.
We'll have to cut. Do you have like any more about like just funding for normal stuff like not normal?
And then after we go through that, if we could just talk about, you know, what is the next, you know, have to like roll over.
The next group is basically non-staffing that we're going to take a look at. So the first column, REC, this is the recommended amount that the district said we should budget for the district. We'll slide so you know in a minute. This is the recommended amount that they budget towards it, and you'll see we're able to budget towards it, and then the difference. So, the first.
So you can see we've stripped it. We have stripped.
Yeah.
There's usually something in almost every category though, but we have stripped that.
So what we probably need about can maintain what we have. And we'll
I
talk
mean,
about that in just a minute.
Schoology, progress learning, and then, I mean, there's some other things that everybody likes, IXL,
Gizmo.
Right Score, I mean, there's,
So what program does the district choose to pay for? Well, I know what programs they do, but what makes them choose those programs and not just do the programs for everybody?
we're expected to pay for our own programs by and large.
Well, like on that piece, how many schools use Schoology?
We pay, that's about 18,000.
Yeah, Schoology is 18,000. Schoology is just used by us in Howard. Yeah, it's not a.
Has there been any evaluation? I mean, it seems like more and more. I mean, I see less and less popping up on Schoology. So what's the process for evaluating is the way to go if there's only 2 schools using it?
Well, also, things change, like, I don't know, a while back, did have a broad district-based license for the classroom, and so that was all district paid for.
Does
I
that
mean,
not
people use
exist
different
anymore?
things. People use different kinds of learning management systems, schools do in the
I think
district.
Google is funded by the
It
district.
is still-
Google and Microsoft.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying. Is that an example of an opportunity to switch from the school paying $18,000 for Schoology, switching to the program that's funded
Then probably by now, because I was hearing, if there's something you can do to make the classroom.
Yeah, there's links within
So
Google
it's- yeah,
Classroom.
so they
where you
have
can
it in-
get, sometimes they don't work though.
Yeah. The
It was
Infinite
new.
Campus is
It
so
was a new
bulky.
couple years ago.
Yeah.
Infinite Campus is so bulky about
Mhm.
things that it could do.
I mean,
And they don't let us use the full suite of it.
Oh, right, they don't. No, they don't.
A lot of districts, people choose what they want.
But yeah, maybe, I mean, maybe this is an opportunity or an invitation to reevaluate $18,000. And, we're facing these significant budget shortages. Again, I don't know how many teachers are using it. I can say,
If we went with another learning management system, it would be
Boom.
double.
go
That.
to Google. Go to what, that's what, yeah, Google Classroom is what it used to be. And right? That's my understanding.
The
Then the
teachers
question-
decide what they'd like to use. The team leaders, the instructional leadership team, decides that. No, I don't think that's a good team decision to
No, I'm
evaluate that.
I'm not saying that Go Team to evaluate it. I'm saying look at it. Again, my personal experience is there are a lot of teachers not using it. So,
Okay, so this is that's what we have broken things down for this year.
You'll see field trips we just slashed. Doesn't mean that we won't do field trips, but we're gonna have to for them to be funded, and then we can, kind of supplement our students who can't afford to do that. We're gonna have to really do field trips. And then you can see the columns, teaching supplies, we budgeted 75,000. Divided is 4,000, we're even getting 44. Media funds, but about more than half, so there's 5,000 for next year. You do have to go through that textbook function, $14,000 for it. 35,000, that's a stable line item. So that's provided to the school.
So the STEAM budget of 4,344, that's for the whole year?
That doesn't include the staff. Right.
They don't have one person.
They funded 2 staff
Right,
members,
see?
and then there's a leftover essentially after those 2 staff members are paid.
So
And then this is the last column. Most of this we can't touch.
Right, so subs, you can see that's almost 200,000 that we have to, I have to budget for substitute teachers. We've never, that's new. We used to, well, through this May, we have 2 daily subs. We will not have those anymore. So we have to budget 190,000.
Which is 10 days for that, right? 10 days for that allocation that they use.
So those 2 subs, daily subs, is that covering everything pretty much for your sub needs?
No. No. No, it's a normal day. Just a normal day, we probably have eight people out. On a bad day, we could have 8. Well, because we have to pay, like if the teacher wants to go in school business, say they want to go on a trip, or they want to go to PD, something like that, we have to pay for that. I have to pay for school business, for in-service, sick days, personal days, wellness days. I have to pay sub for all of that. So that's why it's almost 200,000.
They're making science books.
You have to pay for access.
This is what they adopted. And they made us pay for access. But
Oh, you have to pay for,
what
they don't pay for textbooks anymore. So, no, the district doesn't pay for any of that anymore. Right, not sure what's gonna happen with all those ELA. I don't know what to do with the adoption of all that for next year. No, Tamara, everything has been done in school. But paper, everything has gone up. Paper, Xerox paper is really out of control. Just the teaching supplies, pencils, we will, and this is not a bad thing, but we just know we will be asking parents to pay for a lot more, just basic school supplies. I'm not saying you're gonna buy a trip, but, you're gonna fund a whole field trip, but, paper, pencils, all that kind of stuff. We've been doing that. It's amazing how many pencils that we go through. 1,500 a month, pencils, math teachers. But we have to get that back that, parents need those composition books. We can't buy 500 composition books for kids when they can buy composition books. Maybe we need to open the school store and start selling that stuff. But, we will have to do that. We will, we have, I don't have the money in SABO anymore that we had when I came here. There was a ton of money in SABO, school-based accounting, that we don't have anymore because I've been spending it down on lots of supplies, lots of things like that. So I don't have that cushion. There is no cushion in SABO anymore. SABO is for clubs, like Misoka has a club, she has a SABO account, of course athletics, but there's just not the money anymore because we've been spending it, which is good thing. We've good. You want to have 500,000 in the SABO account.
So, no, I saw the postage also that is very important.
Yes, the postage is very important. I would like to think everybody's online, but it's still very important to ensure that, important things get home. It's different, and you don't have a folder that goes on Friday. You don't come back on Monday. I do. Oh, I do too. The brown envelope, the laminated brown envelope, that was awesome.
Let me go back to, I saw the transportation. That's another. Yeah, source. I didn't say. there we go, student transportation, fire buses, for esports. What would we usually do that? One of my big ones, you know, I've been told by the district that the district will pay for charter buses.
That's also, though, if we would use a yellow bus. It's not just charter, I mean, that's for school buses, you know, we have to pay for school buses when we use them, so athletics has to pay for school buses, practice, game, all that kind of stuff. But that is, it's not just charter bus, I mean, that looks like it's for up there, but
I think it would be, you know, my day, not long ago, pretty recently, I mean, central office athletics, the buses for athletics.
they don't cover everything, no. And athletics doesn't come out of that, I'm sorry, there's an athletic, but we still have to pay for it, I mean, we have to.
I remember the whole debacle over the debate team and. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
The district has to figure it out.
Yeah, no, the district does not fund, like, you know, like we have Quiz Bowl, all that, they don't pay for, although we have stipend for Mr. Wharton, they don't pay for a bus to go there, we'd have to pay for a bus, so parents have to drive. Yeah, we want these things, but.
Just let me ask a question. I hate to go back a little bit. For the STEAM person, would that be one of the second person? Would that be one of the work 202 days? Or who is that person? Where's that from?
That's
Is it a clerk?
Yeah. No.
Oh, so who is that?
Like
Yeah, because you said it's two positions. I know you have the STEAM coordinator, but who's the other person that's gonna be working with that STEAM coordinator?
She
You
works
said
with,
two.
yeah, she works some with STEAM, with Stacy, who is the STEAM coordinator, but she also does a huge amount of student support. You can,
Okay.
you
So
can
split it
use
into
STEAM
two.
money how you know, but and
Okay.
now that we don't even have it, really, it's, you know.
So I know we haven't gotten there yet. Make it back forward, but when we talk about our strategic plan, top two are curriculum to prepare students for college, career, and civic engagement. And number two is to ensure a safe and effective learning environment, student engagement, and quality work. A lot of the things that are on here that we can't find anymore fall into those categories. That's at the top of the list.
That's the problem. It's all important, you know.
I mean, there's no fluff here. The school hasn't had fluff.
Never had fluff. What I try to do is to buy the people that keep the school running calmly. That's what I try to do. Enough people that can meet the needs of the community, the parents and the students and the teachers. So that takes people so that the parents have a dependable, organized environment. We don't want chaos. We just don't. We want, you know. And we depend a lot on people's goodwill, honestly, in the morning from 7:45 to 8:30. We have 15 people, 14 people that are doing the security, checking bags. I mean, people in the parking lot, you know, people, the monitors on the courtyard, I mean, all the safety and security in the morning. It's 14 people, and those 14 people don't get paid for doing that.
like
It's really, it's the administrators, it's non-instructional people. So it is a huge amount of people that do that out of their goodness of their own heart. And
It's chaos. So, what exactly some of this,
Right.
but
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you look at the amounts up here, you know, we're budgeting $15 million towards instructional staff.
right.
You know, $1.8 million towards direct pupil services. The majority of the majority of funding that we provided, 75% is instructional staff, and another 9 on top of that is direct services to students. Out, and then you're looking at instructional services, so another 4%. So the majority of the budget is allocated to instruction.
There's no, it seems there's no differential for the volume of work. I think it's hard to explain what happens here on a daily basis. But, for instance, the front office, I buy an extra clerk. You know, I buy two. You can't have one person out there. You cannot have one person out there. So, you know, we have one registrar clerk. I bought another this year, Miss Owens, because of the volume of the enrollment, the registration, the fraud, you know, it never stops. And so, and then Miss Young, who's the other clerk, has to do the records, you know, ordering records, withdrawals. I mean, and then like Miss Case, the registrar, she has to do grade transcriptions, credit checks. I mean, it's not just registering people, it is phenomenal, great changes. I mean, it is a phenomenal amount of work at this school because of the demands. You know, bought a clerk in the counselor's office. You've got 7 people back there working. You can't have kids coming in. I mean, there's got to be some organization structure so that Miss Poleckia is able to work with kids when they come in, so that they can answer parents' phone calls. If we didn't have Shannon to do air traffic control, you know, it's, you know, I've got to have somebody down there in the OSA, you know, a clerk down there. It is, you know, it is just, the school is really very demanding, and I don't want parents, students to have their needs met. I don't, you know, when people have to wait, it just creates so many problems. It kind of, that's.
Does the district fund some of that stuff? I guess your school, you get X, not really calibrated for the number of students we have, or the fact that it's high school. And there's advocacy we could be doing around it.
In middle school, I mean, that's so demanding too, Howard, but like a per pupil is still a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was depends on the school, but again, a lot of times
Right. Oh, you do have to buy extra.
because
Oh,
what's
yeah.
provided for clerks. Like the other people would never get their job done
Right.
if you don't have, you know, like the counselors not fun if they had to like the OSA downstairs. Most schools I'm gonna have to buy. It's never really enough.
A lot of schools just do hourly, but you can't get good high school clerks hourly. You know, this year we bought two they're called non-instructional aides, so that we could have somebody staffing the front. You know, Rivera does a shift out there in the morning, but so that we could have, when kids come in from ACCA, you know, that's 40 kids coming in at noon. You got to search, you know, I mean, you got to do the bag check and all that. Visitors coming in, you know, I'm going to cut one of those positions. You know, I can't, you know, the district's response is, we'll just need to have shifts, have people up there. I'm like, who's going to go? I don't have people sitting around. You know, you want the school resource officer can't be up there. So, you know, I have Miss Tanner, who's quite the STEAM person. She's got to do a shift, but then she's also doing a morning shift downstairs. I mean, you know.
For this, I
Just got to
see nothing.
use the money you have. You know. like, so, okay, we have Ms. McLean, who's not here, but she's half-time media paraprofessional. We have the highest circulation of any high school. Of course, because we're number one in everything, we have the highest circulation of any high school and more than most middle and elementary. You know, Brian's also the technology person, the Chromebook person, he's the go-to person, so Schoology. So you have to have Kristen help manage that. At lunchtime, you have to have management of that. You can't just, you know, again, orderly, you know, can't close the library at lunch. So it's just a lot. It's a lot to keep, you know, early release means I have to have people to man that too. It's just a lot of people. They call a lot of people. I mean, there's 170 people here, okay, but adults. For anybody. Yeah. It takes a lot of people.
Okay, so do we move on to, I don't know, we are.
Can we put the vote on the budget? Because
You vote on the draft budget, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see a whole lot changing. I mean,
This is budget. I mean, there's no, you know, I mean, I don't know how we can do this. Because, I mean, yeah, we could pick a, you know, little pieces of things, but I think the magnitude is a little bit bigger.
Oh, yeah, and then this is the,
What you
I forgot to get to this. This
Oh,
is
yeah, if
basically
we-
what we
right.
plan.
If we hit our enrollment.
Yeah, if we hit our enrollment, this is our plan. One of the things to reinstate this 180.
I'm cutting that.
We use the office $4,000 right now, so we'll put the request in $30,000 originally asked for resources back. We would like to, you know, add an additional nutritional aid back if we get that funding. $50,000 would go back to software and digital resources, and just about 70,000 to instructional materials and all the paper and resources that we use during the year for lesson planning, and then $25,000 for field trips. So this is if we have our leveling projection. That's our plan on the use of it.
Has there been any talk about them taking out a couple of years ago?
Well, if we don't, I mean, they'll take, depending on the 10th day, they'll decide how much.
There was 1 year.
How
that
much
they
keep,
found
how
by
much-
saying,
But
you're only
we,
gonna get half of it.
right, but we never, we don't hit our projection. 20th. We leveling on the 10th day is the other thing for us. I mean, we won't have 1,700 kids on the, we won't. This year we started out with, at our, you know, in the first 3 weeks, we never got over like 1,640.
Yeah.
And then we hit 1,710, you know, and now we've stayed right at 1,700. It didn't happen in 10 days. And it certainly won't happen starting when most school is Friday. So, maybe on that calendar, but, right, so you can already say, nobody's coming, I mean, that. But we don't hit 10 days, and all the principals say that, all the principals remember if the school is underfunded, I mean, nobody hits the projection at 10 days. APS is notorious about late enrollment.
Ms. Capelli, if you go back to the film slide you just showed, you know, some things can be funded by the foundation and some things can't. The foundation can't fund, you know, buying a teacher. So is there an opportunity to think about, you know, what of these programs are funded by the foundation? and to free up then that money to pay for things that can't be funded. And I don't know if that needs to be done now, like do these decisions need to be made now as part of this budget approval process, or is this just?
This
This-
part right here is just a plan.
Right, this is a plan, okay.
We're pretty specific about not putting too many people on this part. You know, we've thought about that.
Let me, Tim, are you on the board? What is the rationale for a school having to choose part of this charter? I never, why does a school have to choose? Because the rationale was it's part of the charter, being a charter system.
It was not fundamentally a part of the charter system. We first opted in, that was part of that was under Maria, and it was just part of the here for organized doing kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, it's not something that's part of the charter system legislation, whatever they came up
Right.
with. And of
But
course,
then 3 years ago is what they
they
said. You
just
have to
forced
do,
us,
right.
I don't think, and now that we're in the renewal process, changing our goals and our goals, it's an appropriate time to talk about. I'm not an educator, so I don't know. I haven't been in the trenches to know, people like it, they don't like it, Is it paying dividends?
No.
Is it getting in the way? I mean, I don't know.
And I know that's what Dr. was looking at. Are these programs bringing it up to you? I know that that's important to him. And so maybe that's, cutting funds. Right, I mean, I can't imagine Midtown would be any more involved. I mean, we already did so much science, math, and the AP classes. We did a lot of that without it being called out. So it's
So you'd be talking about next year from now, because we only get more money if we're talking about that Steve.
Right. Right, so we're gonna lose that 330,000. Right.
Which brings me back to, they talk about all the extra, really it comes down to what is the middle amount? Give all of the teachers.
Given the needs and the demographics of the school, like, our Hispanic achievement has gone up, the grad rate has gone up. That's directly attributable to what Ms. Rivera does every day. So, I mean, you can cut that one. No, you can't. You can't cut that because that's kids. That's kids that need it,
The one that, again, I've said it too many times, the one that's sticking with me right now is that we need to give people when they become raises. And that's why I was like, all right, I love this for the teachers, but unfortunately a year from now, they're gonna be like, oh, that so-and-so's not here anymore, and that so-and-so's,
I'm not sure when the abolishments come up before the board to vote on May or this right, you have to vote on all that. Or the abolishments for next year, to go through the process, like all those issues, the report and all that. I mean, I'm not sure what the reaction will be when maybe we're the only one. I don't know. But, right. So
not just hitting us, it's hitting every single school, hitting small schools, it's hitting
yeah, Jackson's hit hard too.
Jackson's hit very hard. Sarah, I mean, it was a lack of planning. And I'd love for us to go back and say, you know what, we need to, you got yourself in a hard spot, but that's not the school's fault. The position is you need to do your budget.
Well, and been no guidance or discussion. What happens if we do not, if the Go team does not approve this budget? There's been no guidance
What happened to Jackson?
downtown. Yeah, I know. I heard. But there's been discussion of what that means and yeah, the whole process is flawed in every way. The Go team involvement in this is flawed. The whole Go team process is flawed. Not giving schools enough money is flawed. It's a very frustrating experience.
Can she speak about what would happen if we did not approve this budget?
Diane, can you hear that question?
So as I understand it, can you all hear me?
One
speaking-
second,
hold on.
Diane. We need to change a setting.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm not,
Yeah, we heard her there.
I'm not sure what speaker y'all are using because you've been coming in and out a little bit. So you might want to make sure on the board that you're using that eMeet speaker as both the microphone and the speaker. Did y'all hear me? Okay. Check Zoom and make sure that the round speakerphone in the middle is both your microphone and your speaker. Okay, can you hear me? Oh, you're muted. Your microphone is now muted, so I won't be able to hear y'all.
We can hear her.
Okay, but
Okay.
we can
There you go. You can, okay, I can
hear
hear
now.
you. You can hear me.
hear.
But now you're muted again. But hopefully you can hear me. Can I see somebody's like thumb up or raise your hand so I can? Okay, thank you. So the thing to remember about this process is that the allocation is not part of within the Go team's purview, right? The Go team is charged with applying and spending the allocation as it has been given to you to apply to your strategic plan, your strategic priority, and your goals.
Sorry,
So,
Diane.
no worries. Okay.
Diane, can you hear us?
Yes, very well. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, we
Okay.
heard nothing. Okay, so just start from scratch.
Okay, so, oops, and y'all muted again. So if anybody tries to talk, I won't hear you. So can you still hear me? Okay, I'm taking the wave that you could hear me. The Go team's role in the budget process is to ensure that what is allocated to the school is spent in support.
Okay. Diane, sorry. Would you be able to type it in the chat because there's a delay during you speak over yourself and can't understand what you're saying. I don't know.
Okay, I can try that. I can type it in. Just really quickly, I changed my microphone. Is this better? Nope. Okay. I can't. So you guys, the conversation has to take place in view of the public. So if the public can't hear the conversation, then we've got to figure out this technical issue before you have more discussion. Did you hear me? Or yes, no? Okay. Because I can't hear anything that you all are saying. No, I cannot hear you. Now I
Can you hear us now? All right.
She can hear us
It was
now.
muted.
Now I can hear you. Yes.
She can hear us now.
Yep. We're good. Okay. Hopefully we've got all the audio worked out. So the Go Team's role is to ensure that the funds that you have been allocated are leveraged as much as possible to support the school's strategic priorities and goals. It is the board and superintendent's role from that management lens to allocate the funds. So that's where you are. In terms of
Make some sort of vote of confidence that they've done the best they can so far, however. It's been given.
okay, can you all hear me? I can hear you. Yep, okay. So the decision before the Go Team is whether or not Dr. Bachman and her team have, okay, don't know why I'm talking over myself, but it's it's whether or not Dr. Bachman and her team have put together a budget that you feel supports the strategic priorities in the strategic plan. You do not have to approve the draft that Dr. Bachman has presented, but what the Go Team should be doing is working to take the allocation and come to consensus on how you want that allocation spent. Okay, so you don't have to necessarily approve this draft, but you do have to, the goal is to come to some way to a consensus about how the allocation you have should be spent. The allocation itself is a use of district revenue, which is an administration function at the district level. This is a management issue as to how the funds come down to the school. The Go Team, as individual members and as a Go Team, you are always welcome to advocate on behalf of that. I will be transparent in that voting down the budget because you don't like the allocation.
Right, you just.
And type check.
Allocated, not
and the Midtown team have done anything wrong. I think they've had to operate under a process that's broken, and that we, the Go team, have had to operate under a process that is broken and doesn't allow for. So I mean, we're at the point in the agenda where it's time to take a vote.
Can I ask a question? So if we voted the budget down, I guess that would be semi, what would it practically change?
Nothing. I mean, honestly, they're,
So I'm sorry,
very
really,
little
quickly, can
changes.
you all hear me now?
From in my experience after this point, they've got everything baked in. Too busy.
Yeah, Diane, we can't hear you when you speak. It's just a constant loop, and it's all echoey. We cannot hear it.
We
So
should
if you
type
could please use the chat, we'll read what you're saying.
But essentially, we don't say that we have a problem with what you all did, not necessarily with is doing, but the numbers that they presented and the things that they put on there, we're saying that we have a problem with what.
No, it just depends on what your motion is.
Right.
Depends on what your motion is. You can move to do whatever.
I mean, that, you move to, I don't know, table it for, I mean, this timeline is very aggressive. Everybody knows that, very, very aggressive. Everybody has said that. Not sure what the urgency, I have no idea what maybe you know better about the budget. I mean, does the.
I just want to prove it in
Okay.
June, so it's like reverse engineering. But, nowhere in this process is there any opportunity for us to say, whoa, something's really wrong here. There's no feedback loop for us.
What if we tabled and asked for feedback, asked for what more we put into the budget?
I think the question could be asked about the signature fund. Again, that's just a problem.
It's all it is right now.
But what was the rationale? What was the formula? Why did we get 333? I don't know. Here's what you get. Last Friday. That's, BLM was cut, it's like 70,000. I mean, cut from what they asked, in signature. So I think like I've always wondered Title I, like how that was always caught. When I was Title I schools, we were given an amount, don't know why, how.
Now they put it in a community pool.
Right. So, I mean, if you wanted more information about that, because it does impact money, that would be a teaching position. Yeah, and it's 130,000, so that's a teaching position.
What does it do to you if we table it?
No.
I
mean, I don't.
As Tamara noted, the Jackson Go team did not approve their draft budget.
I think they worded it in some way that, they were supportive of their comply with what was given. However, it does not meet the needs of their strategic plan and their student population. And I don't think this is excessive, taking the stand, because you've seen it for a decade.
Right.
It's been, we're down to bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
Diane has put 2 nuggets in the chat. The allocation is district level management decision. The Go team is charged with deciding what's allocated being spent in line with priorities. The allocation is not the question on the team.
So when does the Go team get to pay for it?
You want to talk to you?
You can hear us. every individual on the team and the Go team as a whole can advocate to the board and superintendent on the allocation process.
I mean, even as a board member, you can't get it.
It's 5:42. So we need to make a decision. You know, what are we gonna do today? Unless y'all wanna keep sitting here talking till 7:00. Yeah, so.
So yeah, we need a motion. I mean, my position is, yeah, this process is broken and this timetable is too, is quick, and I don't see how we can provide meaningful input and analysis on what, on the budget that's been developed. So, that's my comment. Who needs to make a motion?
Create a question before the team is for how the allocation can be given in these.
Well, she says she wants to take a vote, but it doesn't mean we have to.
Well, does anyone want to make a motion to approve the draft budget?
Okay,
Ask, yes,
for
for
more
rationale around the allocation. And ask for more input.
Comment, the Go team can discuss trade-offs and changes to what was.
There's very little left. I'm in a second, Eric's motion.
Can you repeat it? Or, well, you're the secretary. Are you taking it down? Did you take it down?
But what would the timeline?
At the next meeting.
But this is due before then, isn't it? How tight is the timeline?
So the next meeting,
It will be after it's actually due.
So that'll be after your staffing meeting?
it would be after the staffing meeting. Gonna- I think the process, I think the timeline needs to be,
Is it gave you a tight,
We're gonna need to
deadline.
ask, define what we're gonna ask. Or at least some idea of the district in terms of information.
The goal for the Go team to come to a consensus on a budget. It does not have to be the exact one Dr. Bachman presented.
Yeah, but even if we went, if we decided, oh no, we're not gonna do school, we're gonna do that's less than $20,000, right?
Yeah.
So
That's the thing. The process doesn't allow for that.
okay, can you repeat your motion?
So my motion is to table the budget until next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what will
Do we need to
happen-
ask- Do we need to ask, we need to include? Yes.
Regarding the allocation process.
The allocation process, Go team's role in it, you know,
Okay,
at what point-
so motion to table budget until next meeting, which will give us time to,
Develop questions regarding the allocation process.
motion seconded. And then, I guess to execute that, Jennifer, I'd be happy to work with you if we want to do that. Yeah, happy to go. Okay, do we have any other discussion on that motion?
You all have flexibility on all funded positions. You can discuss how you want the staff, the building.
But you can really staff it.
But we
with
can't
within.
do that here and now. I
Right.
mean, we presented a spreadsheet. That-
Yeah, I mean,
the
that, we can't
process
just
doesn't
like,
allow that.
you know, I mean,
Any other discussion?
I have complete confidence in Dr. Bachman and Ms. Capelli, and that they have done the absolute best job possible with the limited amount of funds. But what I don't feel comfortable with is that I don't have an opportunity to digest it and comment on it, because I have not. And that's what I'm not comfortable voting to approve the draft budget that's been presented to me under a frozen system.
Just ask a question. We do this because we're collectively doing this, and we're not voting today. For some, I mean, God forbid, for some reason, what if they're spiteful and say, okay, well, we had questions, and then they drop the amount that they're allotting. They keep, I mean, they be like, okay, well, what was this? This is all we're offering. Because it's, I
All
mean,
this
this
is
is,
public.
I know,
All
it's
been
like,
out there.
it is, but it's still a give and take, and you're dealing with politics. And politics in Atlanta, not everything. It's politics in everything. It's politics in the school board, politics in the school system, and yes, it's school politics. We had a new superintendent. Is maybe, I don't know, when he came in, we went to when he was going over the budget at that G3 summit, it was like everybody was like typing like questions like, how could this be? You rob Peter to pay Paul. How could this be a big issue? What if you do this? And they come back and they say, oh, okay, well, we held it up, you didn't meet your deadline, now we're gonna take off a little bit more.
they were about like
Then-
financial
yeah.
retaliation.
And it could be, and it could be slidden under the table as like something else, but it could be like, okay, they called us back, they asked a question, we did it, and now we're gonna take off a little bit more of that. I've lived in Atlanta my whole life, and I've seen a lot,
I understand that fear.
but
So Diana's saying you choose to schedule another vote meeting for this week on Monday. Let's provide the finance for that budget to cluster superintendent by end of day on Monday, February 17th.
See, Monday's a holiday. You can't do that.
I'm not until.
It's not gonna happen this week.
yeah,
So I understand your fear. Problem I've had for decades now is that the fear prevents people from having the kind of conversations and bringing up topics that we resolve, that would make it all so much better. Like people are afraid of talking.
I'm not afraid. Oh, I'm not afraid.
I'm not
I'm just throwing that out there because I don't know who's on public and might be thinking the same thing and can't get through and say, hey, I'm not scared. I'm not scared to go against the grain. But I have people coming, I have kids coming up the pipe that this can affect next year and the year after and the year after. I'm doing this for the future, but I'm not, by no means, I'm not scared. I just want to throw it out there as another insight because somebody might be thinking the same thing and not able to say it, or somebody in this room might be thinking the same thing and not say it. I just want us to be aware of the whole scope of what we're doing. I'm looking for the future. My son leaves this year, so this 9 out of 10 is not going to affect him. But I have relatives that are coming up behind me. I have cousins. I have friends, kids that are coming through APS. It's all schools in APS, and the system is broken. The system's been broken on a very, very long time. Okay, so I don't know what our expectation is. Something that's not going to be fixed right away. We've had 3 superintendents over the last, 6 years. This is my 3rd superintendent since my son started school. And so we're just looking at it's like a big scope of something. A lot of flaws, a lot of little cracks. And so this might be something that helps this school moving forward we're on a very tight line, and she's saying by the 17th, which is Monday, and we're out. They're out. So trying to get people together and to meet this deadline. What if we go past this deadline? Like that. You know, something she's saying is 17th is Monday. Are we gonna be able to meet again this week? Because the week is down tomorrow and then it's Friday. And who's going?
We're not,
You
we're
know-
not, let's be clear, we're not rejecting the budget.
Okay.
What we're saying tabling is, I don't think the administration is in the business of retaliating. These are their students, these are their kids. I don't think they're that, I don't think they're in the business of cutting a go team. It's a procedural thing. So I think we should, I like Jennifer's point, this is like a spreadsheet that we have the same thing. How we process of that. And I think we owe it to ourselves as a go team to go to and say, hey, we'd like a little information. We want to know how this was put together. I think it's due process. We're not rejecting the budget.
I think, you know, what you're right, the spirit, it's in good faith, you know, we come in good faith. We've just seen a
We
lot.
just got,
We've seen a lot.
trying to
and-
digest it all at one time.
And we're trying to make some positive.
Okay, so the
Can we talk
motion,
about-
you have a motion that's. Eric, do you want to read the motion?
The motion to table budget until next meeting, seconded by Tamara. Go team will BPS about allocation rationale, and go team can have more input in the process.
I would say also ask for an extension.
I mean,
Or basically ask,
Yeah.
but, yeah, ask for an extension to the week of the 24th. And that doesn't have an
Extension
Yeah,
to the week
the
of.
week of the 20th.
Yeah, read it again.
Table budget until next meeting. Go team will take this time to ask APS about allocation rationale and if Go team can have more input in the process. Go team will also ask for an extension the week of February 20th.
I mean, I don't, these are internal timelines, timeframes. I don't think the vault closes on the, this is AP, I mean, to say
She
that,
said
I
the
understand
next meeting
Diane
will
has
be
a
after the
timeframe,
staffing
but,
conference.
right, I mean,
If we table this, there will be no other opportunity to have input. Unless you are scheduling one before the staffing conference. Reach out to ensure she's all right and not getting the draft.
yeah, I mean, it's all it's not like the governor saying, you know.
Well, we have a motion and second. So I think it's time for a vote. So all of those in favor of the motion, let's do a show of hands to make sure we can record.
Table it and ask for information and more.
Okay, so Eric, you're in favor of the motion? Okay. Okay, so all those opposed, raise your hand. So no one's opposed. All those abstaining, raise your hand. No abstaining. So the motion carries on unanimous vote.
Meeting will be.
I haven't talked to Audrey tomorrow. I mean, I think I have to talk to Audrey. But, I mean, we've got another meeting right now, so,
No, 7.
I mean, other meeting.
So we'll wait to hear
Can
from
you
you.
please repeat what the motion was?
Motion to table budget until next meeting. Go team will take this time to ask about allocation rationale. Input. The go team will also ask after extension.
The week of.
The week of.
Okay, so the motion carries. We are very short on time. Dr. Bachman, do you have additional report?
No.
Okay. Cat report, public comment. Again, we don't have any members of the public here. Are there any members of the public on YouTube? Okay, so there's no public comment. Quick announcement, Go Team elections are in the process. If you'd like to declare for Go Team, opportunity to declare. It's open until February 28th. Okay, we've reached the end of our agenda. Oh, sorry, yes, sir.
I really found out about the swag bags, and it was 5 people that are getting them. Dr. Bachman, Eric Goldman, Jennifer, Tamara Jones, and myself. We were only 5, so she said they're gonna be delivered sometime this week. They were? She just said she got this email today.
Somebody, well, I think somebody picked them up.
Yeah,
and
Oh, okay, okay.
I know where they are.
I have a memo.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're gonna get it today.
Okay, motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay, Jennifer, so moved. Motion, Jennifer makes a motion. Audrey is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The meeting